You don't have bad habits. You have habits that are perfect for the identity that you currently hold. The person that you want to become has a completely different set of habits and beliefs that you have to find. Once you realize that, the question is no longer, how do I change my habits? The question becomes, who am I trying to become? Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about identity and how to manage it before it manages you. The identity is both a product and a producer of your life, habits, and the people that you spend your time with. Put simply, consistently doing something, whether you believe it's good or bad, will integrate itself into your identity until it's second nature. If that makes sense and you know exactly what to do now, stop this video and get on with it. For those of you who are still here, let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to actually do this. I like to think of the results that I reap in my life as a model of concentric rings. The center ring is identity. Identity is at the core of it all. It decides how you hear, filter, and understand ideas in the first place. If you don't believe me, I have a little thought experiment for you. What comes to mind when you hear the name Donald Trump? I'd be willing to bet that you have a pretty polarized opinion of him, whether it's good or bad. Now, imagine you see a stranger at a bar. You haven't spoken a word to each other. You haven't even exchanged glances yet. But you see that he has the word MAGA in big letters across the back of his shirt. Without even looking into his eyes or hearing him speak a single word, you've probably already decided whether you like him or not. That right there is your identity coloring and filtering new information in the background without any real conscious thought needed. Obviously, for some tasks, it is important for you to be able to do them with minimal or zero conscious thought. Say you're at that same bar, and the man you have no idea the political leanings of stands up and decides that he's going to throw a punch at you. You don't need to know anything about this man or his life for your fight or flight instincts to kick in. I'd even argue that that's a good thing, and it keeps us safe. Trying to consciously take in and digest all of the facts instead of reacting on instinct in this situation could get you seriously hurt. That said, we do have to be diligent in distinguishing between what is genuinely threatening our safety and what is simply threatening our identity. If you want to disagree that identity should be at the center of our model, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm always open to suggestions. Moving forward, I'm assuming that we're on the same page with that. So we've got identity at the center of our model now, and the next ring up is actions. Our actions emerge once we've assessed a situation through the lens of our identity. Say we're back at that bar, and we've seen the man in the MAGA shirt, and let's say for now that you identify more with the left side of the political spectrum. An action that may emerge from that identity is that you choose to sit on the other side of the bar from him, putting physical distance between you two. The facts get filtered through the identity, and the actions reflect that. For the outermost ring of results, I'm going to switch gears a little bit here, just to see this in action, pun intended. If you're trying to make a major lifestyle change, let's say on New Year's Eve, and let's say your resolution is to work out more and eat healthier. I know it's kind of vague, but work with me here. Your current identity is perhaps, you see yourself as a few pounds overweight. You know what you need to do. You've tried even doing it a few times to no avail. Every January 1st, you start again. Maybe you make it a couple of days, maybe even a couple of weeks, but ultimately, you succumb to your old identity and you're back to square one within a couple of months. What happened? Your old identity allowed for enough gaps in building your new identity that you fell back into the old one. You missed a day at the gym. Just one. It was no big deal. Maybe you had a late night snack. It was only once. Once becomes twice. Twice becomes an excuse that there's more important things than that, and suddenly we're back to square one. You see, identity, actions, and results. It's super doom and gloom, I know. We've all been there, whether it's the gym, eating right, looking for a new job, starting a side gig, or literally anything else. So, what can we actually do about this? First, it's important to recognize the cycle. Whatever cycle it is that you want to change. It could be that you tend to get defensive in political arguments. It could be that you keep finding reasons to skip the gym. It could literally be anything. Whatever it is, it's important that you recognize it. The reason it's so important to recognize the cycle first is because that's the thing that keeps dragging you back to your old identity, and it is the self-fulfilling prophecy that gets created every other time that you have tried to change and failed. Each time you fail, it reinforces that old identity, and it becomes even harder to fail the next time, or succeed the next time. The mistake that I believe is the main killer here of new identities is it's a bit counterintuitive. It's actually being overly ambitious. You get it into your head that to assume your new identity or habit means that you have to go from 0 to 100. That you have to go from being a couch potato to being in the gym for 5 days a week, maybe 7 days a week for an hour or more. In reality, what you're doing by creating this ultimatum is actually making it easier to give up when you can't immediately accelerate to 100%. In reality, the secret lies in building back the trust in yourself. Building back your trust in your ability to do anything. And we've spent years eroding that over, creating lofty goals and failing them. So, all right, how do we do that, you might ask? Well, the short answer here is that there's no one-size-fits-all, but something that I've found immensely helpful has been setting tiny, manageable goals, tying them to existing everyday habits, and then spending a couple minutes every day, either physically writing down or mentally recapping what I did as objective fact. I'd like to note it is better for me when I physically write it down. Keeping the self-judgment out of it and simply stating the things that you did that day in an objective way, including the small goal that you set for yourself and achieved, allows you to actually look back at how well that and how often that you actually show up for yourself. Spoiler alert, it's more than you think. It allows you to take some pride and bump your confidence and your abilities back up a little bit. For something like working out, I would set the goal that maybe before my daily shower, the existing daily habit, I'm going to do at least one set of as many push-ups as I can do, and I'm going to do that for 7 days. Even if you don't think that that would make a difference, even if you only do 3 push-ups, and you did them with your knees on the ground, you will still have done it. After the 7 days, it may take, it may take more than that, but after those 7 days specifically, I might make it 2 sets, or I might make some of those push-up variations a little bit harder. The key is to resist the urge to add too much all at once. Even if you're feeling super confident already, you need to resist that urge. We've been slowly degrading our sense of confidence over the years, and we have to be gentle and, more importantly, consistent to build it back up. And that consistency doesn't have to be a huge action. It doesn't have to be waking up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It just takes consistency. Once you've formed the new habit, you'll notice that your identity will start to adjust itself in tandem. When your new identity is formed enough, when it's fully fleshed out, you'll notice that it requires little to no mental effort anymore to do whatever it was that you set your goal to. It'll simply be something that you just do. If you're only half listening to this, or you have it on in the background, and you can only remember one thing from this, I want you to remember that consistency, no matter how small of an action, is what forms identity. Identity is what everything else flows from. So you need to protect it like it's your life, because it is your life. Never stop thinking, and I'll see you next time.